Today we're going to do a very simple dish that some of you may have grown up with. We're going to just do what we'd say is a mess of potatoes and green beans. And so it's something that my family really likes. It's really simple, and it's probably something you've had too, but with the holidays coming up, I thought it might even be something that you'd want to take as a side dish. And we're going to do a little bit healthier version of it today. I'm starting out with an onion, and I'm just going to cut both ends of this onion off and go ahead and peel these outer skin layers off, like so. And basically what we're going to do, I'm going to be making this today with turkey bacon to make it a little bit healthier with all the other unhealthy things we tend to eat around the holidays. Sometimes it's nice to do something that's still very yummy, but is also a little healthier. So with this onion, we're only going to do a half of an onion. So I'm going to cut this onion in half. I'm going to set this half aside here, and then I'm just going to slice this one up. If you remember me talking to you about using your knife, you'll notice I go in a down and forward motion. Get about a little over halfway through, I tilt it and go the other way. And then we get right here to the end and cut it off. So we're going to start with this onion, and then we're going to do, I have a half a package of turkey bacon. We used one day last week. Oh, we made chicken cordon bleu with it, I remember now, with the turkey bacon. So again, I'm just going to, if you remember, I always like to cut my bacon up before I cook it. And so we're just going to kind of chop it up. Now with the turkey bacon, it is, I do the uncured turkey bacon. We just don't like a lot of preservatives and nitrates in the food that we eat. That's just something that we're very aware of. And before I get this started in the pan, I'm also going to go ahead, put this aside because we're going to put this here in a pan in just a moment. But I do have 4 cups of hot water here. Now we have an Insta-Hot, and so I just use that, and 3 to 4 cups. This does not, again, we're cooking, so it does not have to be precise. And this is our Better Than Bouillon. This is the beef base. So I'll show this for y'all. Better Than Bouillon. This is the beef. And I'm going to do 2 of these heaping tablespoons. And I'm going ahead and sitting those in there now because I want to kind of let those soften up so that I can stir those and mix them when I'm ready to add the green beans and potatoes. So we're going to come over here by the stove. I'll bring you with me here. All right, we're going to turn our stove on between medium and medium high. I'm going to be using avocado oil because, again, with the turkey bacon, there's not a lot of fat. If you want to use pork bacon, again, it won't be quite as healthy, a little higher fat, but it certainly will work. It doesn't change the ingredients in the recipe or the effect of the recipe at all, just whether or not you want that amount of fat. So I tend to eat keto, and certainly you can do keto with pork bacon, but I try to do a leaner keto where I get more of my fats from plants. And we are going to have a few carbs in this because this actually has potatoes in it. So, but the great part about making something like this is, first of all, you may have other people in your household that don't eat keto. So you've got that. Second of all, I can choose not to eat the potatoes. I can have 1 or 2 potatoes, have the green beans, and just have a couple bites, and that's plenty, okay? So that's really what we're going to kind of focus on with this, is just really focus on this home-style dish, and maybe if you were going to decide to have a few carbs, maybe it's a carb day. I know I tend to have carbs when I'm in maintenance, which is what I'm at now. I've lost 80 pounds, so I'm not really focusing on losing weight right now. I'm just focusing on maintaining. And so 1 to 2 days a week, I will up my carbs and have 60, 70 carbs for the day. When I'm trying to lose, I keep my carbs around 30. So we're just going to let this brown right now, and kind of, I think I can tilt it up for you. Let's see if this has it. So that's just the bacon and the onion and the olive oil. And we did about a 1/4 cup, not of olive oil, avocado oil today. You could use olive oil if you want as well. I really just didn't want that heavy flavor. of the avocado today. I really wanted to focus on the flavor of the bacon and the beef broth. So we're gonna let this simmer for a few minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and get my seasonings out, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we've been letting our onions and our bacon cook here just to kind of cook this onion and bring the flavors out a little bit. Again, we're using turkey bacon, and if you were not worried about your fat intake, you certainly could use pork. No problem at all with that. Now, because of the way we're going to cook this, we're going to add liquid and we're going to let this boil for about an hour to hour and a half. We do not have to worry about whether that bacon finishes cooking. In fact, we don't want it crispy, so you don't need to worry about that at all. What I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm stirring. Remember, we took the water and put that beef base in it. So I'm going to stir this up a little bit here, and then we're just going to add this. Okay, so now we've got our liquid. I'm going to stir that in. Everything's all dissolved. Now, before I add my bacon, or not my bacon, my green beans and my potatoes, I'm going to go ahead and season this a little bit. So I'm starting out with white pepper. If you have regular black ground pepper, that's fine too. I tend to use white pepper. I like the flavoring of it. I also don't have to worry when I'm going from a light colored sauce to having pepper flakes in it. Sometimes I have grandkids that don't like that. We're just going to do like a pinch of thyme. So again, this is thyme. There we go. Do a little bit of oregano. Sorry, when you shake some of these, they don't always come out very much. We gotta be careful I don't put too much in either. So just want a little bit. And then we do have onion in this already, so I'm just gonna add a tiny bit. This one is just powdered garlic, not garlic salt. I try not to use any spices that have the salt in them. I do that for a couple of reasons. First of all, when you buy the spices with the salt, you're paying for salt. I have salt in my cabinet. I use sea salt. I prefer pink Himalayan sea salt. So why would I want to pay for salt? And this way I can adjust my seasoning, and I don't have to worry when I cook things down, as I often do. If you put something in there with a lot of salt and you cook it down, then that sauce can become really salty because as it reduces, that flavor is what's left. And if you put a lot of salt in it, the leftover flavor is salt. So we're going to do one small bag. These are just make sure I got this right for you. I prefer the yellow Yukon potatoes, the baby ones. Just rinse these in the netting. Put these in here. We're not even going to peel them. We're not even going to cut them. Okay? We're just putting the potatoes straight in. And then on top of that, I'm going to do probably half this bag of fresh green beans. Now you can also do frozen green beans. If you do, this is going to take longer. Okay? Because they're frozen, and not only do beans frozen, but once you add them to your dish, they are going to bring down the temperature of your water and everything in there. So you just want to keep that in mind. You know what? I'm going to just do the whole thing. So this is 24 ounces of green beans. That might be too much, but I think it'll just fall thin. So, and then this is it. And we're just going to put this lid on it. I'm going to watch it come to a boil. When it comes to a boil, I'm going to turn it down to medium-low just to let it lightly simmer, and we're just going to let it go for about an hour. Hour and 50 minutes, so these green beans and potatoes are done, and all those flavors marry, and so we'll come back and show you what this looks like in the end. Okay, our green beans and potatoes are done. I just turned them off. They smell so good. I'm just gonna give them a little stir here. If you remember, the green beans are on the bottom or on the top, and the potatoes are on the bottom. And then I'll put this here for you. Okay, so now depending on if you're keto or not, how many of these potatoes you're gonna want to eat versus green beans. You'll have to figure out what works for you, but this is a very grain-free, good carb for you. This plate will be for my husband. As you can see here, we've got that bacon and the potatoes and the green beans there. And these potatoes are just fork tender, and they're just gonna cut right up. So we've got this really nice yellow creamy potato in there, and we did these with the skin. So this is just one of the easiest ways that you could do this. Now, to go with this, so we've got our mess of green beans and taters, which is my family would always say. And then what I went ahead and fixed with these is our low carb hush puppies. So there is another video for those, but so we're gonna have some low carb hush puppies and some green beans and taters. And so this will be our dinner tonight. It'll remind you of being home with your mom or your grandma like it does for our family. So eat healthy and have a great evening.